Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally and further strengthen up your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So this morning I'm going to talk a little bit on entities of other dimensions, and I'm going to talk about also malefic entities, maybe even some benefic entities, and I'm going to talk about how these entities are roaming around freely and causing trouble in the mass, okay, and are even being created and even are being utilized in that way for conflicts. Okay, so let's get right into this. So there's multiple different entities. For one, there's plenty of different entities that you can experience. You know, they're not imaginative, or they're not you don't actually make them up, or they're not just like myth or mythology or anything like this. All mythology is actually related to something truth. Okay, so any type of mythology points to some type of truth taking place in another time that is still relevant in our space and time. So there's many different entities, and there's malefic entities and there's benefic entities. Unless you just want to see them as entity, then you can kind of understand them more. But you can go through experiences of meeting with entities. It can be through, it's usually through, I want to say, like inner space, okay, or not only inner space, but altered states of consciousness. Okay, and altered states of consciousness are very, very important to each and every one of us. We are all fluctuating through various states of consciousness throughout our day, but they have kept us within a normacy type of consciousness, where for the most part we are within a certain state of consciousness, and in that state of consciousness we agree upon societally living together within a certain dimension of intelligence, and so on and so forth, and we're all collectively agreeing upon living within this. Okay, but then there's sometimes where you are able to go into altered states of consciousness, and you're able to break into other dimensions. Okay, and within these other dimensions you're going to meet various different entities. Okay, and some of these entities can be of a malefic, they can be malefic to you, and they can be benefic. They can be beneficial, or they can actually damage you on various different levels. Okay, but the way you got to see it is that altered states of consciousness are very natural to each and every one of us, and they are a part of our lives, only because we have been programmed to live within a very minute state of consciousness, or a very not shallow, but a very set state of consciousness. We don't actually get into any of these other dimensions anymore. In other ancient civilizations, they would always do this. We've always done this throughout our existence. Okay, and whenever you're dreaming, whenever you sleep, that's the time whenever you go through all of the different states of consciousness that you're able to tap into. And this is why you have such bizarre dreams, because you're actually just traveling multi-dimensionally, or you're traveling interdimensionally, and this is, you meet various entities in your dreams. You meet people from other space times. You meet yourselves. You meet you go and experience a lot through dreams, okay? Because you're going through altered states of consciousness. You're traveling the universe. You're traveling the space time continuum, and there's entities that they release on the mass, okay, and this is part of some type of warfares, okay, or is it's just part of I want to say it happens every so often within a certain type of cycle, which I don't know the cycle of. I want to use the yugas, but I don't actually know how often it is on that scale of time. But what I'm trying to get at is that there's a rise in entities that are being released throughout the third dimension. Okay, so on the physical realm, we're living third dimensionally. Then there's the fourth dimension. This is mind, and then there's fifth, and then sixth, and then higher. This fifth is like emotional, and then six is like putting mind and emotion together, going higher in dimension up from there, and then there's the lower dimensions, and then zero, which is no dimension. But there's what we call, want to say, it's an interdimensional merging taking place, okay, and due to the interdimensional merging, there's a lot of receptivity to some of the entities that are hoarding the space, and because of the interdimensional merging taking place in the third dimension, people are going to start experiencing more entities of a fourth dimensional nature, or of a mental nature, or even entities of a fifth dimensional nature, okay. And they can be very, very malefic. They can also be very benefic. They can be very, very beneficial to your life, and they can guide you, and they can help you, and they can lead you to higher states of awareness. But some are very parasitic. A lot of them are very, very parasitic as well. And these ones you want to stray away. You don't want to get caught by their traps of parasiteness, because they will drain you of your life force, and they will actually lead you to lower states of consciousness, okay. And these ones, they spread throughout the matrix very often, or they spread these parasitic entities throughout the world very, very often, and they do this on purpose. They have agents, I want to say agents, um, or maybe just people or beings who are opening up gateways so that these types of entities can be bred, and then, or not bred, but these entities can come in and infest this realm, and they have a whole system of opening up these gateways to bring in more of these entities, which are very, very parasitic. They're of a malefic nature, and they're very hard to deal with. They do not. Um, they will invade your life, okay. But one thing about them is that you want to avoid them, but at the same time, they can also teach you a lot, because they're so common throughout the world, that there's obviously something that we need to check on to understand why they're so common, and this is what I'm trying to say about learning from them. They're very, very malicious, or maybe they're even draining of your energy, or they bring about lower states of being. But you can also learn from them, because it's like getting sick, from a disease. Let's say you get sick from a disease, and it destroys your system, but then you recover from it, right? And then after recovering from that disease, you then have the knowledge to um, to keep yourself clean from that specific disease, you know, and that's evolution that happens to all species, so that they can mutate or transmute into a conducive state to be able to overcome whatever disease that keeps on coming into their system. You know, you can get a disease once and then you can learn from it from there, and then just avoid it after that, and then help other people to avoid it. But if you get a disease and it keeps recurring, then it's something's trying, the universe is trying to tell you that you need to make a genetic, or you need to make a change in your genetics to be able to withstand whatever that disease is, or withstand the disease itself, you know. And then that's how it teaches you. So it's a process of evolution. So, and these entities are the exact same thing. They're kind of like diseases, because some of them are very parasitic in their nature, and they can like leech onto you and your life, you know. So, and you won't be able to see them because they're not physical entities. They're fourth dimensional entities, or yeah, I want to say they're either going to be fourth or they can be lower. They can also be higher, but higher dimensional is more, it's more love. And as you come into the higher dimensions, it's more, there no death no longer exists. So you don't really have to worry about any of that too much, you know. But if it's like getting a disease, you know, if you're attracting any of these entities that are very, very sapping or parasitic to your life, they're trying to teach you something, or you're trying to teach you something on a higher scale. um, and it's all the process of evolution, you know. You're trying to evolve into higher dimensions of existence, you know. You're trying to integrate, you're trying to make the mutation, and what these entities are going to do for you, they're going to show you very, very dark truths that are going to help you avoid anything that may be of a detriment to that process of evolution. So you can just accelerate the process of evolution, and continue the transcendence from matter to spirit, you know. But once you're in spirit, once you become spirit once again, a lot of the danger of things, or what you see as danger, secede, or cessates, or secedes, or whatever, you know. It kind of just goes away, because you're then in union with God once again, and you are God at that point, because you're spirit. You're not matter. Matter is just condensed, densified energy, you know, and spirit is pure energies. Um, but these entities, they release them throughout the matrix, you know, in large amounts, and you won't be able to see them if you're living third dimensionally. Um, and these may be just fourth dimensional entities, you know. So you got to open up the mind's eye, or you got to open up your third eye, or you got to open up your mind, and be able to use your mind as your actual eye to be able to see these entities, you know. It's like somebody who's able to channel spirits, you know. They don't use their physical eyes, they don't use any of that, they use their mind to connect and gain connection on these higher dimensional entities, you know, because they aren't physical. Okay, so you'll never really know if you're being leeched upon by any type of parasitic entities, unless you open up the mind, you open up the third eye chakra. Okay, and then you can start doing the research with your third eye. You know, you can start searching, or you can start unveiling things. You know, you can lift the veil, or you can start exposing things that have been in the dark and the unconscious more to light. And as you start doing this, you're gonna start to naturally understand more about what is unseen, you know. And then you can work on integrating whatever the entities are teaching you, you know. But it can get very, very dark, it can get very taboo, it can get very uncomfortable as well. and it can feel very dangerous, maybe, but you're an immortal. And you got to know that you are just energy, and that a lot of it is just a show, and everything is just an illusion. That's very important to keep, because that keeps an understanding that things aren't so serious, no matter how bad they may be. It's just a show. So then, after you go into all of this and understanding the various different entities that can maybe be of a malefic nature to you, then you can start integrating what they're teaching you, and you can start avoiding what these entities are bringing to your system. And if they're shocking your system or imbalancing you, you then start avoiding it by the integration, and then you are able to help other people to avoid it. And then this is the whole process of evolution. As you help other people to avoid it, you're also organizing things as they should be. Once again, after the interdimensional merge comes to a cease, you're just kind of crossing, making a type of crossing into a higher dimension of some sort, and then you have the knowledge after that, and you're able to utilize it and make it into a wisdom, and then have people learn from that after you have learned from it. So don't ever be afraid of anything. Just be courageous. At the end of the day, it's all just, don't take it seriously. It's just it shouldn't be taken so seriously. Okay, no matter what may happen, just learn to understand that it's all for a process of evolution, from matter to spirit at this point, or at this now, or in this now. Okay, but that's going to be it for today's video. Once again, I do thank everybody for watching. One love, peace out, and have a great morning.